Welcome to a special edition of the Retro Byte. Today we're going through the top 10 most valuable and rare games on the N64. Coming at number 10, we've got Knockout Kings 2000 from EA. This will rack you up £70.51 if you was to buy on eBay, which is quite a lot of money for what seems to me a very standard and straightforward boxing game. This list was compiled through two things. One, the list of the very rare games on the N64 as compiled by Nintendo magazine, and also what price I get from on eBay. These are playing through our emulators as usual, so we are getting the luxury of playing them in HD and not having to spend a lot of money to get these games. Didn't really think too much of this one. I mean, the boxing seemed fairly decent. It wasn't too difficult to get used to. I wasn't very good at blocking, as you can probably see, hence why I'm getting my last handed to me in the first fight. But I did manage to knock this guy down, which made me feel quite happy. I do apologise about the audio as well. On the emulator, it's got that weird cut-out noise every now and then. I'm not too sure what's causing that. Please feel free to add a comment if you know how to fix that on Project 64. So as we're winding up on number 10, we should see my nice little knockout punch, which I had to include in this video. I do like how the cuts appear on the guy's face as well. I thought that was quite advanced for an N64 title. Kind of remind me of that rocket game that came out of GameCube. There we go. There's the haymaker. Boom, and he's down for the count. I thought the faces on this game actually were fairly decent as well. Doesn't seem like there's too much, but you can play as all the boxing greats, which is probably pretty good, even from today's standards. At number 9 we have Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero. This is £72.13 on eBay, and I have any idea why anyone would pay that price for this game. This game is awful. I have made this list because I'm very interested to see what is the most rare and valuable games on the N64, but that doesn't always translate into being the best games. This one has as we can just see, has a really weird thing where you have to press B to turn backwards. I don't understand why they did that. It's a terrible control method. Now here, the reason I'm going scatty is because random pillars will come down and crush you. So as you can see, I have no idea how to get out of the way of them because you've got to press B to go backwards. You can't like just get close to it and run backwards or jump backwards as I'm trying to do. It's just dreadful. I'm presuming by the name, the fact it's called Sub-Zero, they're planning to do a lot of these. After this one got absolutely trounced, I don't think they've ever done it again. I hope they don't. Just keep Mortal Kombat where it was, thanks. A massive sword is nothing compared to a couple of punches and kicks from Sub-Zero. I'm sure maybe if you get into the game you can start doing more fancy moves, but I have not got the patience to get further into this game. I'll show you how far I got. So as you can see, trying to avoid that, managed to avoid it, get smashed in the face with a sword. Potion up. Nightmare pressing B to turn around each time. So I sneak up to this, try to get nice and close, and then that happens. Continue? Hell no. Shame that's not an option really. Number 8, Gex III Deep Cover Gecko. This is £72.95 on eBay, which is quite a lot really for what seems like a very standard platform game, especially on the N64 when you consider how many platform games and how great they are. I mean, we're talking like the Banjo-Kazooie, your Marios, etc. This seems like a very standard by-the-meal one. I've not really played any of the Gex games, so I can't compare that to how these stand up against the rest of the trilogy, but it's very, very standard platform stuff. As you can see, the turning circle of Gex is dreadful, and it makes it really difficult to pick these things up. And you basically got to jump and hit. I'm not really too sure what I'm supposed to do, hence why I'm smacking that little turtle guy now.
Good idea to me, sir.
So on this level you get to attack Santa's sack. I think that's what's going on here. It's a bit strange really, when you think about it. He's jumping on his sack and throwing presents at you for some reason, so you just smash him back, or don't smash him back as the case may be. It's a very poor version of the old Ganon fight in Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. That's a much better fight. So that unlocked a remote control or something, I don't know. I'll skip the intro cutscene where Agent Extra gets kidnapped or something like that. I have absolutely no interest in the story. I just wanted to get through a couple of minutes of video just to show you what the kind of intro was like and what the game looks like, because I'm sure that many of us have never seen these games before. Either we don't have the luxurious options of spending a ridiculous amount of money on obscure N64 games, or we didn't buy it when it first came out, as most people didn't. Unfortunately, keeping with the theme of poor games, Aiden Chronicles, I think that's how you pronounce it, £95.64 on eBay. Doesn't really lend itself well to a kind of let's play video because it's very, very slow and it has lots of text, and the frame rate is absolutely diabolical, as you can see. I've skipped most of it because I just wanted to get into something of vague action. There's this huge long cutscene and these little dwarf midget things that you talk to, and it's very, very tedious. I'm sure if you plough plenty of hours into this game, it's probably a lot of fun and there's something deep there. Or maybe not, because it's on this list, so it can't be that good. But this battle is... I had to keep this because it's so tedious. I do like the mix of real-time and turn-based, but this is just ludicrously slow and boring. I understand half of what's going on, but I stabbed this giant bat and killed it. That's my experience of the game. Number 6, we have Rocket Robot on Wheels. This is breaking into the three figures now. We have £110.19 on the board. With all the platformers on the N64, this obviously didn't do quite as well. Played fairly alright actually. I kind of like the concept of going around this little robot dude. Maybe I might have to get into it a little bit more than the opening levels, because he's got a flashlight that doesn't seem to do anything, which I'm guessing you eventually power up so you can take out those clown things. What I did find amusing was this little mini game area to get one of the extras. We have to throw things into these guys' mouths as one of them. You have to do it in a particular order, and I've actually got the order right. And then there's a cat throwing game, very similar. This is quite funny, I thought. Or amusing, should I say. The chicken plays tic-tac-toe with you, just slags you off basically. So you mug him off by throwing something at him, and it stops him from being able to draw or beat you. Pathetic, yeah. I know your game, sweetheart. Look at that. Take your best shot, I will. Check that out. Uh-oh. Number 5, Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. £122.99 this sold for on eBay. There are some crazy people out there. Do not pay £122.99 for this. Look at the state of that guy's face. It looks like a squashed omelette that's been run over by a truck. Oh dear, I mean this... Right, so the first mission you got to do is throw these boulders. I'm not even kidding. I mean, so I'll skip that. Then we've got the mighty ladder, which, as you can see on the controls, I tried to get near it and he just went near it. And now the mighty Hercules climbing his ladder at a snail's pace. Hercules, what are you doing? There's nothing there, mate! What are you doing? Oh dear. So we've got to the game proper now. That was just the intro bit to get you used to the controls. And for a game that you want to play as Hercules, you expect to be doing huge tasks with your manly strength, not fighting jesters in the middle of a forest. What is this all about? I mean, I shouldn't expect anything more from the guys who brought us Superman 64, really, should I? Throwing a guy, he disappears. I eventually got myself in a bit of a scuffle. These guys just keep coming up these sheds, little TP things there, and as you can see, the combat is just sloppy and all over the shop. I'm trying to do my best to fend these guys off, and this guy comes out from nowhere, apparently hits me with the axe, and that's it. That's game over. Couldn't say about myself. £180.39 this is going for on eBay. I'll tell you a little story. When this first came out on the N64, I really wanted it. I didn't have a PlayStation at the time, I just had my N64, and this was coming out and I was really excited, and I remember trying to get it for Christmas, and I just couldn't get it. And now I understand why. It's one of the most rare games on the N64. I believe it's one of the biggest carts that were released, not in terms of size but in capacity. But it's 112 megabytes, which obviously by today's standards is nothing. I mean, if you had a 512 megabyte USB stick, you would just throw it away. This is one of the first and one of the only games, I think, to have proper FMVs, as they used to be called in the 90s and 2000s, the little cutscene things. I also found out today the reason Final Fantasy VII didn't come to N64 is because it was taking up 22 carts. Now that would have been quite fun to see, 22 carts for one game. But this was all on one cart, and Resident Evil 2, well, it's probably the best game on this list because it's an absolute classic. I love Resident Evil 2. Even just the little bits of text and the music, everything about this game is just brilliant. Obviously you don't need to spend 180 quid to get this on the N64. It's been released on so many different consoles, including the GameCube, which I thought was a bit of a rip-off because there's a direct port from a PlayStation to a GameCube. A bit cheap there, old Capcom. Now we're in the big money. Snowboard Kids 2, £307.48. We're getting into the obscene amount of monies for an N64 game now, especially when you can cheat and get it on an emulator. I think the first game is a lot more widely available, but this particular second game is very rare, as we see by the price tag. I mean, 307 quid. Nuts. Here, as you can see, I totally forgot you have to get the lift. And I ruined my place. I went from first to last. And you get to just have the embarrassment of watching everyone get the ski lift before you. However, I'll reclaim my rightful place at number 1. Even threw in a couple little tricks. I mean, I do like the kind of Mario Kart on snowboard feel it has, but not for 300 quid. That's just crazy. In at number 2, San Francisco Rush 2049. Not even too far away now, really, is it? But this is £359.95. Wow. What is going on with people? It's an alright futuristic racer, but is it worth that much money? Is it worth that much money when F-Zero X is on this console? I really don't think so. I did have a bit of fun with this. I do like the big air that you get. Quite cool, but I mean, seriously guys, nearly 360 for this. £360 for this. What are you doing? I know it's rare and all that, but is it worth that? Of course it's not. You gotta be careful of the buildings because you will lose your position and get absolutely swamped, and getting back to normal is not easy, as you've just seen. Yeah, I get a little bit of bump boost there, but unfortunately I wasn't able to recover my position. I feel like I get to see San Francisco Bridge there, Golden Gate. Finally, taking our number 1 spot, Starcraft 64, at a whopping £479.67. Considering this is on PC for probably pence, or even free by now, I should imagine, that is a seriously amazing amount of money to pay for an N64 game. No matter how rare it is, that is serious dedication to your N64 collection if you're willing to part with nearly 500 quid for essentially something that's on PC very, very easily. And as you can see, on the emulator, it doesn't actually emulate that well. I had a lot of problems getting this running smoothly. I tweaked my settings quite a lot, and the menus are quite choppy. And the game itself, as you can see in the bottom left, doesn't always run at 100%. It's a very strange thing to do for the money, especially when you can play, like I said, on PC or even just Command & Conquer. Quite similar, which is probably going to offend some Starcraft fans, so I do apologise if you're really into your Starcraft. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you found this interesting, and let me know in the comments if you have any of these games. I'll be interested to see if you've got them and what you would consider parting for them if you were to sell them for what some people on eBay have paid for them.